Thank you for joining me for this Halloween rune reading for 2022, which I am actually recording on the 23rd of August. So let me now share my screen a moment. Bringing up an image of the runes. Okay, so the three runes that came out this time were Io, Algis, Sol, Sorolu, or Odil, also known as Odila, Odin's rune, many people will say. And the feeling that I had with this is of change, of the need for change, of how at the time when the veil is thinnest between the two worlds, our awareness of the need to chat for change around us is greatest. And I'm going to go into the reasons for that in a moment. But I will also say that Sol Sorolo in the center there, and I apologize for the misspelling on my slide where I have spelled Sorolo, Sol Rulo, which is wrong, but let's continue. So Halloween, to come back to the theme of Halloween, which sets the frame for this reading, it's the time when summer is truly at an end, regardless of where we are in the Northern Hemisphere. Obviously, I'm not talking about the Southern Hemisphere where everything happens in reverse season-wise. But winter is with us. It started. We're aware of how much darker the days are getting. And the celebration of Halloween, also known as All Hallows Eve, All Saints Day, has long been celebrated. And in many Christian countries, it is celebrated as All Hallows Eve or as All Saints Day, mirroring perhaps, and I'm going to say not perhaps, a much older tradition in the Northern Hemisphere, that of All Hallows Eve, Halloween, Samhain. It is just a very special time, I would say a liminal time. There is a sense of magic about it. And of course, as a spiritualist, as a medium, I accept that the veil is permeable at all times, but I also feel that when more people are operating from that expectation, are celebrating the thinness of the veil, then there is indeed a greater union between the unseen world, the spirit people, the ancestors, the loved ones, the far distant ancestors, and us in our everyday world. Because thought is a living energy, a living thing, and that will indeed, the expectation of celebration, the acknowledgement of this will inevitably make a difference as we are involved in shaping reality, each and every one of us as part of the whole. So to come back to the runes, we have Io, which to me is the fir tree, the evergreen tree of the north. And it's also Algis, which are the antlers on the reindeer. You know how when they stand so proud, and you know how when a tree is big and strong, how powerful it looks. And we talk about the tree of life, the great tree of life, but we also talk about us as having, each one of us having a tree of life with many branches and many possibilities. That tree of life that is growing, that is a living entity, that is part of what we express through us, and how pertinent that this should show at Halloween. It is, though, in its reversed position, which in a way, to me, points, and I'm tuning to this intuitively now, a collective feeling that many people feel that they've been stretched as far as they can be stretched by the lives that they're living, and the sense that they want to, in a way, have greater power to take control of what is happening, not just in their own lives, but in the life around them. And of course, we can never really control the life around us, only what we do and how we respond and how we act and how we create ourselves. But this rune is saying that at the time of Halloween, there will be this sense of people cannot be asked to adapt much more. They cannot be asked to give anymore. And it is more about the giving, because as I'm saying this, I'm seeing in my mind's eye a piece of elastic that can only be stretched. And it's been stretched this far, which is as far as it can go. But it's like it's been asked to stretch this far. And people are saying, in many different areas of life, in many different parts of the world, I cannot expand much more as things stand. But the saving grace in this reading is that it is the time of Halloween. It is the time when we can ask for strength and inspiration in larger numbers of us, ask for strength and inspiration from that power, that greatness, that spirit that lies beyond the veil, beyond what we can normally see and experience in our everyday waking consciousness. But then at the center of this reading, we have the saving grace. We have soul, we have Sorolo. And this is about happiness, it's about success. It's realizing, acknowledging that yes, we have to work our way forwards, we have to collectively find solutions, but life wants to offer us more of the sunshine, more of that happy quality to come back into our lives, to allow us to be more of who we can be. Because when we're feeling stretched, sometimes it's hard to be our most creative selves. It's hard to be our most loving selves. It's hard to be the best that we can be. But this rune is saying, remember that you can be. And I am there with the power of the sun, the power of brightness, the power of light. Even as you go into your darker time of year, this power source is there for us to tap into, for us to draw upon. And when there is difficulty and the two runes left and right of Sorolo in the center do indicate challenge, but it indicates that that challenge will somehow be made easier. We will find a way to make it easier than it initially looks. So in a way, this rune is it is reassuring. It isn't in a way reassuring. Its appearance is always reassuring. So what of the other rune, Odila, pointing towards the left? It tells me that when it's pointing towards the left, the thoughts are of the past. The thoughts are sometimes with this in part, and I'm going to say it, this is how I'm feeling it around Halloween. Can we not just step back? Can we just turn the clock back? And many people, I feel, will have this sentiment in so many ways, in so many different places. Can I just turn the clock back? Why can't we go back 2 years, 5 years, and just start something again and do it differently? But of course, we know we can't do that because life allows us to learn from the past. It doesn't allow us to actually go back and remake the past. But as we're looking at this, that is also saying that ideas and agreements and ways of doing things that were formulated in the past, it's a good time now to question how right they are for the present and the future, because we can change how we go forwards. We can change how our attitude to our own power, and I'm looking here at Io or Algis in reverse here, how our attitude to our own power and the way that power is held in our world can alter and can start to turn things around. Because this is also, when I see this rune reversed here, or algae on the left, when I see it standing on its head like this, with its trunk in the air, I always say it is like we have to find a way to take care of ourselves. There is a self-responsibility here as well, a self-responsibility that operates, excuse me, in union with whatever is going on around us, with the systems around us, with the way life is being organized. It has to operate in tandem with that. But there is also this sense that I often see this, and I say this is like the mother, and I want to talk about Mother Earth, the mother that needs to take care of itself, to look after its own child better. And we can all understand that. But I also want to say that at this time, some will be saying that maybe we cannot afford to take such good care of Mother Earth, that this is something that's being discussed. And yet, Sololo is saying, yes, there is a way. You have to find a way to do this. You cannot go back in the way to the time before this became important. Of course, adjustments may have to be made, and creativity may have to come into this, and the kind of inspiration that does indeed come into our minds from the other world can be very, very important at this time. And I wish you a very happy Halloween and a very happy early winter, if Halloween isn't something that you particularly celebrate. But the time scale for this reading that I am talking about is between the 31st of October, or Hallows Eve, until right up until the solstice, so up to and including the 20th of December. This is a dominant theme, and as I'm looking at it, it is a challenge, but at the same time, it is an invitation to evolve, both internally as individuals, but also collectively in the way that we look at many aspects of life. And that is an exciting thing. Thank you for joining me for this reading. It's been a pleasure to have your company, even though I cannot see the people who are, watching the videos. It is interesting that I always feel this sense of affinity with the people that I know are going to be listening in the future. And if you're interested, I do readings for the 8 points of the Wheel of the Year, and also on some other situations that I feel inspired to. And of course, I also offer personal readings. So thank you for joining me.